Well, guys, it is old firm week. Love saying old firm week. Why do we love saying old firm week? Because it properly winds them up. You know what? They probably get this on if you start about old firm week. So sorry, guys, recording on my phone. Obviously, if you laptop issues at the moment, I am seeking to get those rectified very, very soon. But we are building up towards that game, and there's been some interesting developments today in terms of players becoming available. Some more transfer news as well as regards Jose Cordoba, the central defender, the left-sided central defender that Rangers are reportedly interested in. So stick with us for all that news. And obviously, if you're new to the channel, if you've just found Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys, this is a free channel. We don't charge you for content. We obviously are a non-Patreon channel, and you can find us in lots of places on social media, all scrolling along the bottom of the screen. Well, let's start off by talking a little bit about that possible signing, that exciting news. You know what? I know it's not, the transfer window's not open yet. I know that, at this moment in time, we can't obviously buy players, but you can get pre-contracts done with people, and you can get pretty much agreements in principle in place, ready for when the transfer window does open. Now, I think it's no secret really that Rangers do need to do a bit of a defensive overhaul on our defence. I think the issue you've got is that yes, we've had a pretty, in terms of statistics, decent defence, although I think at times it has been very dodgy. But we do need to do a massive overhaul there. I think if you look at the defenders that are still here, you look at the players that are at the club at this moment in time. A lot of them have been here an awfully long time, and I think some of them may have gone stale. Some of them have got far too much scar tissue when it comes to playing against that lot. Sorry, Celtic. I do apologise to those people I've offended in the past. Anyway, so look, Connor Goldson, 40 grand a week, not really worth it. Not really going to improve any. He's over 30. James Tavernier, again, over 30, not going to improve. Borna Barisic on his way out. Obviously, Ridvan, I think, is definitely one for the future. Leon King, I would love to see him get some opportunities to play. I think, he was kind of ruined a little bit by being thrown in the Champions League deep end. So I'd love to see him get his opportunity again. John Souttar, look, I know John Souttar comes in for a lot of criticism for fans, but, I think what you've got to kind of realise in terms of John Souttar is this. John Souttar has got a mistake in him, yes, but he is a good defender. If you look at some of the way he distributes the ball from the back, some of the blocks that he puts in, the way he brings the ball out to try and break the lines, he is a good player. I think you've got to kind of realise that if he was a player that didn't have that mistake in him, then he'd be one of the top 6 clubs in England. I think, that would be the way it is. But, that we've got to kind of try and accept as a fan base, we're not going to get another Richard Gough or Terry Butcher or Lorenzo Amoruso. That's just not going to happen. And John Souttar perhaps is one of the best we can kind of expect at this stage. But the talks of bringing in a new centre back is good. I think we do need to bring in a couple of new centre backs. Personally, I think if we could perhaps give Balogun another year's contract as just a squad player, keep John Souttar, obviously, bring in 2 centre-backs and obviously have Leon King. That would give us 5 very good options there at the back. And, Leon King, I think, can play right back. He can play defensive midfield. He can play in a number of positions. So he's another good utility player. So obviously we've been talking around this player, Jose Cordoba from Levski Sofia. Now, look, Levski have had a poor season by all accounts in the Bulgarian Premier League. I don't know much about Bulgarian football. I won't pretend to be an expert on Bulgarian football. Not really my thing. Never really watched Bulgarian football apart from when they've played perhaps Rangers in Europe. Or the odd World Cup game in the past when we all used to laugh at their last names, Balakov and so on. And we all used to make jokes about possible names for Bulgarian footballers. I'll let you make your own jokes here. But Cordoba is described as being one of the most promising and one of the best defenders in the Bulgarian National League. He's a Panamanian international, well known for his distribution from the back. He is very good at bringing the ball out. He's got a good range of passing. He's quick. He's also very good in the air. He's just over 6 foot. He's not massive, but he certainly is good in the air, despite the fact that he's just over 6 foot. So, he does seem like a player who is definitely going to be a decent option. And it's not just Rangers who apparently have expressed an interest in him. It has been a German teams from the Bundesliga as well have looked at him. And look, apparently now this is only according to reports from things like Rabin. It's Rangers Review reporting this. So, these are people who are on the whole insiders. Chris Jack, does talk to Rangers players, Rangers officials. So, you've got to kind of believe a bit what Chris Jack says. And Chris Jack was obviously famous back in the summer and back over the January transfer window for ruining our January transfer window with every exciting link that came out. It seemed to be that Chris Jack could be straight on the old report and kicking that report into touch. But Chris Jack has confirmed through the Rangers Review that Jose Cordoba has had talks with Rangers, and in their words, they are in advanced talks with Jose Cordoba, which I think is good news. And look, they've talked about wanting to get these players in early again before pre-season, wanting to get them in before any possible European qualifiers, depending obviously on the result of the league campaign. So look, it's a good move, and it's encouraging to see that Rangers are already kind of looking around Europe, looking around the world for new players. And this is kind of a very, again, Niels Koppen type of signing, the kind of thing that, Koppen would have done if he was at PSV Eindhoven, looking at some of these internationals and players from teams that are not perhaps as fancied, the way you don't have to pay a king's ransom to get these players in. And this enables us obviously to bring in more players. This enables us to work to our budget. Realistically, yes, you'd all love to go and shop in Liga, Serie A, the La Liga, Bundesliga, the EPL, but the problem is the prices there are just absolutely astronomical. And it's also nice to see as well that we're moving away, hopefully, from buying these average championship players on very high wages, a lot of whom come with pre-existing injuries. So good news on the Jose Cordoba front, so it seems. But obviously, as we all know, it's never official. It's never spot on until you get the scarf pick. So let's talk a little bit now about Ryan Jack. Now, Ryan Jack, look, I admit that I love Ryan Jack. He's a top player. He is a top player. And I think, we can all kind of admit that whenever Ryan Jack's in the team looks better because he makes the people around him look better. He enables the midfielders to go and play. He covers for the fullbacks. He destroys. He reads the game very well. Ryan is an excellent player. He really, really is. And I like Ryan. Now, he is out of contract at the end of the season. And look, as much as I like Ryan, I do think it's time that he moved on. But if we can get anything out of it between now and the end of the season, we've got to remember we are paying his wages. He is still a Rangers player. So if we can get anything out of him, it is a big positive because he is a good footballer. And obviously, you've got to remember as well that there's a strong likelihood that Ryan Jack will want to go to the Euros with Scotland and therefore will play up to try and obviously show that he is capable of holding a place down in that squad and wanting to go with the Scottish national team. So it was interesting to see today that Ryan Jack and Alex Lowry, in fact, were named in the Glasgow Cup game for the B team. Jack playing 45 minutes, Lowry playing slightly longer, but both of them were named in the starting 11 today. So all those young players that you remember perhaps from that watch along we did here or for the cup final, with Nisio and so on, Lynch and so on and so forth, and Adamson as well. There's a fantastic tweet by Adamson's dad talking about the fact that his son's favourite player was Ryan Jack, and today he got to play with him, which must be absolutely amazing. But Ryan Jack, played 45 minutes. He came through that unscathed. Now, this, of course, does beg the question. Ryan Jack is a very experienced player, a very combative player, a player that's, been around, played in a lot of, of those old firm games. So would Ryan Jack be someone who you might be worth risking, might be worth playing? Even 45 minutes from him at some point coming off the bench or even starting ahead of John Lundstrom, is it worth, using Ryan Jack, for his experience and putting him in there? Certainly perhaps something worth considering this weekend. I mean, I personally can't see Philippe Clement starting him. I don't think that's an option, but certainly if we could have him there, I mean, could you imagine, if we can get a goal up, a couple of goals up, ideally 3 goals up, putting him on for the last 20 minutes, his experience coming off the bench, I think would be invaluable. But it's good to see him back, and hopefully he can play a role going forward towards the end of the season. Like I said, I know he has his injury issues, and I get that probably is going to finish his Rangers career. But we do need to get the very best out of him going forward, I honestly believe. And if we can get a game against Celtic out of him, a cup final out of him, a game away at Tynecastle out of him, all the better. Because like I said, he does make players look better, and he is a quality footballer. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now, the other player that it's worth mentioning that played today was Alex Lowry. Obviously, Lowry, who started the season on loan at Hearts, but Hearts then returned him apparently for professional reasons, but as it turned out, he was injured. Yes, whatever, Stephen Naismith. Lowry, it was back and played today. I mean, could you see a role for him perhaps coming off the bench or being on the bench on Saturday just to give us some more options there, some more attacking options? Lowry is clearly a very skillful, very talented footballer. He can play, in that 10 role. He can play in a midfield role. I dare say you could probably get him in a wide role. He is that type of player. A bit of a wild card. Is it worth putting Alex Lowry into that squad again? I know he's obviously got limited match fitness, limited first team experience, but we're not exactly overly blessed, are we? I mean, yes, if we can get Abdallah Sima back and Rabbi Matondo back for Saturday, then realistically there's probably no need to use him. But if Sima and Matondo continue to be out, is it worth sticking him in for an appearance, for at least be on the bench? And we've all been trying to encourage, I think, Clement to put more young players on the bench. And yes, against Celtic, it is a risk. Of course it is. But look, it's an option. It's an option there. It's a nice option to have as well. Now, there's been talk, obviously, about Abdallah Sima possibly been back. He looked very active during that game against Killy on the sidelines, so there's a possibility that he could be back. Now, if he is back, what do you do with him? Do you start him or do you bring him off the bench? What's the best possible role for him? We will obviously be talking more about that after Philippe Clement's press conference, once we know what is going on for definite with, obviously, Sima, Matondo, Jack, Lowry, and how they might be used. But, look, it isn't going to be an easy game on Saturday. And it's interesting, isn't it? I listen to an awful lot of podcasts. I listen to This Is Ibrox podcast. I listen to Rangers Review. I listen to the Rangers Journal. I listen to, Rabbi. I listen to loads of podcasts, Heart and Hand, which are amazing. There doesn't seem to be a massive amount of confidence that we can go to Parkhead and get a result. And I know that's understandable given our record there is absolutely shocking. And these players have not got the best of CVs when it comes to actually doing things against that lot. But look, at the end of the day, anything's possible. Anything is possible in a derby game. Anything is possible in an Old Firm game. We've just got to keep believing and keep the faith that possibly something could happen and it could come off. Well, guys, that's pretty much it for this morning, this afternoon, or this evening, whenever, obviously, you picked up the video. Thank you so much for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. Hopefully, we're back, normal service resumed. I want to get my laptop sorted. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please smash that sub and help the channel to keep on growing. Please go back and check out some of the other content if you're new to the channel. Have a look back at some of the live streams as well to see what we do there. Thank you for watching, guys. And as always, two things I ask of you on the way out. Number one, smash the like. It defeats the evil algorithm. And number two, remember always, we are the people.